I don't wash my beans, never have, and I've turned out okay. So I'm going to use a pound of Great Northern beans. I will just kind of go through there and see if I see any rocks or any beans that look kind of sketch. Next, you're going to want to add an onion. I'm going to go ahead and add this pepper too. It's getting really, really soft and needs to be used, so I don't want to waste it. I'm going to add a medium-sized carrot. I am going to start out with this chicken broth that we made and then this smoked turkey broth. I'm going to get those in. Now, my daughters are vegetarians, so this is a meatless meal, but they do not mind broth. However, if you were to make something like this for someone who is a vegan, let me show you some options. We've got this sauteed onion, better than bouillon. We've got this vegetable, better than bouillon. Here's a roasted garlic. There you go. I love that sound. Mediterranean seasonings. Some of our rustic Tuscan. I'm going to do about a tablespoon of each. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this minced garlic. We have fresh garlic, but I'm just not up to chopping it up today. I know that looks like a lot. That's probably, honestly, about 1/4 cup because it's all the liquid down there. But we like a lot of garlic in this house. And I noticed that we hardly ever get sick. I think the garlic has a lot to do with that. I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of smoked salt, onion in there. We'll do about maybe a tablespoon. I'm going to go ahead and add some of these beautiful tomatoes. I'll go ahead and do 1/4 cup and get up to high, and we'll give it about 6 hours. Now we are going to make some naan flatbread. And you're going to need a cup of non-flavored plain Greek yogurt. Next, you're going to want to add a little less than 3/4 of a cup of water, or 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use the pink Himalayan salt. And you're just going to give this a good stir until the salt and the yogurt are dissolved. Next, we're going to add 4 cups of flour. You can use self-rising. I only have all-purpose at the moment, so I'm going to show you how we're going to add the leavening agent. So there's 1 cup, 2, 3, and 4. I'll add 1/2 tablespoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Let's get in there and start kneading the dough. It's very similar to the 2-ingredient bagel recipe I made the other day. Same thing, it was flour and Greek yogurt. So far these are all the same steps. You're just going to keep kneading it until it gets that little stringy texture going on. I'm going to spray just a little bit of olive oil just to kind of coat this. It feels a little bit dry, and I think this olive oil might help it bind together a little bit. There we go. All right. So you just want to keep doing this. Anybody who's made bread from scratch kind of understands that this is a process. And you can also add just a little bit of water at a time. If you feel that it's too cakey and dry, too crumbly and not really sticking together. But make sure you don't add too much water. You just want to do a little bit at a time till it gets to the consistency that you're looking for. So it's coming together really nicely. You can see that when you touch it, it kind of bounces back. I don't want to risk cutting my table, so I'm going to go ahead and put something under it. Okay, so first we're going to start cutting this long ways in half, and it doesn't have to be exact. We just want to try to make 10 pieces if we're able to. So then you want to separate it, and we're kind of going to try to roll it a little bit. Now I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit more flour on my surface, and then we're just going to take each piece, kind of give it a good roll. Then we're going to just set it aside and do the same thing with the other 9 pieces. As you can see, we have several sizes going on, and I didn't do anything to roll it in a perfect ball because I think I'm going to use my tortilla press. I'm going to use this parchment paper here just so it doesn't stick. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in. No, it's at the end of the roll, so it's kind of curled up. But I just don't want to mess with it sticking. So let's see. Yeah, that made them pretty much the size of a tortilla. Okay, so now we are ready to put this on the griddle here. So I got 3 burners going at one time. It should start puffing up, kind of like if you're making homemade tortillas. Alright, so I think these are ready to take off the grill. Before I get started on the hummus, I found that we had some fresh dill in the refrigerator. So I am going to melt a little bit of butter, throw a little bit of basil pesto in there, a little bit of dill, and then maybe a couple drops of lemon juice, and I'm going to just brush these naan breads, give them a little bit of flavor. While I was softening the butter, I found this Papa John's garlic sauce. This stuff is so good. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw this in there as well. Because why not, you know? Mo butter, mo better, as Honey Boo Boo says. I am just going to take this little tiny sprig and break that up. But we've got the dill. I'm putting just a little bit of pesto in here. I just want to, here's one that I took a little piece off of just to taste test. And it was very good. That's going to be so good. I know it's gross to look at people's eating food, but I don't know if you can just see how light and airy and pillowy. It's like taking a bite of a cloud. These are, except a lot better, I'm sure. Next, I'm going to show you how simple it is to make hummus. I am going to use a can of chickpeas. I'm going to use some tahini and a little bit of toasted sesame oil. Usually you put olive oil in the recipe, but I just wanted to change it up a little bit. As you may know, that tahini sauce is basically crushed up, minced sesame seeds anyway, so you can make these any way you want. You can make them more with a crushed pepper vibe or a garlic vibe. You've seen all the different flavors in the store, but we are just going to go ahead and get started on this. I'm only going to drain a little bit of the chickpea water. And here's a fun fact for you. With egg shortages and the cost of eggs going up, the liquid in here makes a good substitute for eggs in a recipe. I'm not saying eating them by themselves, you'll fool somebody into believing that they're eggs, but if you're needing that texture in baking, you can use chickpea liquid. And the way I learned that is because although my daughters are vegetarian, they were vegan for a while, so I had to come up with a creative way to make recipes that substitute for eggs. So anyway, I'm going to just drain half of this and we'll get started. I believe the liquid is referred to as aquafaba, but don't quote me on that. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons worth of the tahini sauce. This toasted sesame oil is very, very potent, so you don't want to use as much of this as you would olive oil. I'm just going to do, I guess that was probably about half of a tablespoon. I used the rest of my jarred garlic, although I probably have some more in my pantry. I just don't feel like looking for it. So I am going to go ahead and use fresh garlic cloves. All I need to do is peel it, but I don't even need to chop it up or anything. I can just put it in the food processor. I'm going in with a pinch of smoked salt, tablespoon of freeze-dried onion, pinch of garlic powder, pinch of cumin. In place of crushed red pepper, I'm just going to put a little bit of ancho chili powder, a little bit of the garlic and herb rustic Tuscan style. I'm going to do a little bit of another Mediterranean blend. And I did add onion flakes, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of onion powder in there as well. And some sesame seeds, because why the heck not, am I right? We already have the sesame oil. We've got the tahini. Now we're going to just add a spoonful of olives because I had them open. This will give it kind of that tapenade vibe. Just finding everything in my kitchen. Corey made some chimichurri sauce the other day from our chimichurri steaks. So it's got parsley and some red wine vinegar in it. I don't want to put too much of the olive oil in it. I don't want this to be too oily. I'm going to put a little bit of that parsley in there. Sprig of dill, a few capers. And lastly, I'm just going to throw in a little bit of this Japanese mayonnaise because it just gives it a whole creamy texture. We love this stuff. We put it in everything. I lied. One more ingredient, I promise. Just a little bit of basil pesto. I'm not going to record me pushing the button because it's really loud. But this needs about 5 seconds. Perfecto. Now we're just going to cover this up and wait for everybody to get home and add the lemon juice and get this party started. So the soup is looking good. It's been about 8 hours now, and I'm going to just add a little bit of this Greek-inspired blend. A little bit more lemon juice in there. Now I'm going to just plate this up. So Corey is here in time to do the taste test. I got him a little piece of the naan bread with some hummus on it. And he declined to have the dill butter spread. He just wanted the hummus.
Really good flavor. It tastes like the oregano and cumin in there. And a squirt of lemon, I guess, really did kind of sets it apart. It's good.
All right, so now let's try the hummus and the homemade naan. Well, I like that lemon.
Great job on the naan. Hummus is really good because you put those sesame seeds in there. I like that little crunch.
Awesome. Let's try it. That is good. Yeah, you're right. The sesame seed gives it a nice little texture. So,
guys are missing out.
Another successful meatless Monday. Just to show you, there are recipes out there where you don't have to have meat. I know it's getting more expensive, and a lot of these are staples that you probably have in your pantry anyway. So, I hope everyone's doing well. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. This is how content Hazel is when her daddy gets home from work. She just turns into mush in his arms. So cute. You want some Mediterranean soup, Hazel?
She's sniffing it. Like,
She's licking her chops.
That smells pretty darn good.